This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting. It's weigh-in day. I'm joined in the lobby by Deji's manager, Liam Chivers. Deji's been more quiet of his fight week than usual. How's Deji doing?
He's cool. Yeah, no, he's been quiet in the build-up, I think, but this fight week amongst the team he's been pretty lively. Oh, yeah. But he is chill. You know, I think that's the thing with experience. You know, the early ones were very leery and let off all that energy and nervous excitement from the sort of Jake Paul fight, etc. And then as he's got more experience, he's just sort of, you know, he did, I think, you know, come on the Fuzi fight. By that time, I think Vinny Hacker fight, he was pretty nervous, I think, and then by Fuzi, he was just dead chill. Do you remember that fight week? There's an air of him about that, I think. You know, obviously, then once you go and do Floyd Mayweather and you shit your pants a little bit for the build-up of what might happen there, and you go through all the ups and downs of that fight build-up and that fight, and you come out of it thinking, you know what, I can handle this occasion in any given day. So he's dead chill. You know, he's in good spirits, and he's just going through the motions. I think with someone like Deji as well, it's like flight week can drag on a little bit, you know, in and out from home and travel and back and forth and waiting for interviews and bits and pieces. He just wants to get on with the fight now, and that's sort of because he's done it so many times.
Is that not the novelty wearing off after you've done it so many times now? He's not new to it anymore.
Not the novelty of fighting. That's what it's all about. The fighting's what it's all about. No, the novelty of, you know, the talking to people like you. And
honestly, I'm interviewing Deji in ages. Yeah. Saudi Arabia post-fight, Jake Paul, I nabbed him there, but that was it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Deji's very impromptu, so if you're with him and he'll be like, yeah, cool, let's talk. But then if it's like he's got to go out of his way because he's already got 3 things we've lined up for him, whatever it might be, you have to schedule it a little bit more these days. That's all. Because otherwise, so many people want to talk to the likes of Deji and obviously JJ and the big guys that if he genuinely his fight week would be exhausting if he spoke to everyone who wanted to speak to him. So, you know, it's just fight week. It's everything from the weigh-in and you're waiting and you're doing your glove checks and your medicals and drugs tests and all these different things. It's just all methodical, isn't it? It's not the fun. He just wants to fight.
And he's fighting Swarms. I remember interviewing him after the Mayweather fight in the post-fight press conference back in November in Dubai, and he was saying that he wanted to kind of stay up a level away from the YouTubers and kind of keep a higher upper echelon of talent.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it would be great if every 3 months he could fight a Floyd Mayweather, a Manny Pacquiao, a Conor McGregor. But those fights are dream fights, which might happen once in your life. They may happen twice. But you can't build your schedule, your training, your camps around those maybe things that we try and make and we talk and we investigate about. But when it came down to it, he needed to be active again. You know, Deji, when he's not fighting and training, you know, he needs to stay motivated. So, yeah, the Swarms fight, it made sense. I mean, we were looking, people have been quite open. Deji's been quite open at all. You know, there was the Kingpin option, as Ed Matthews was calling him out. Swarms, we felt for the foreseeable future, certainly for now and for this year, you know, Misfits was the best fit for him. Obviously, the big pay-per-view events with his brother as well, there's a bit more hype around those. And, you know, chatting to the team and Mams, you know, if Deji's, you know, co-main on or main on a pay-per-view event, it means more than just being a guest fight on an existing tournament, for example. So for now, the Swarms option, one of very few options just to get him back in the ring in the meantime, keep him sharp.
So as long as he beats Swarms on Saturday, well, who are the options after that? Who are the next row of fighters you got?
It's weird. It's such an evolving sport, isn't it? There's so many more coming in and out of it. There's all those Kingpin guys. You know, he loves the idea of going to Brazil and fighting Whindersson if that happens. If nobody else, you know, JJ doesn't snap him up, for example. So, you know, you know, see how he gets on against Kenyan in the tournament. But you know, those are the exciting challenges. The big names. Doesn't have to be a big Floyd Mayweather name. And you might say, oh yeah, Swarms doesn't compare, but someone like a Whindersson or in that space certainly does. Look, with Deji, there's plenty of people calling him out, sportsmen, footballers, stars like that, which we look at. But does it make sense for him, and does it make sense for Misfits ultimately? So yeah, let's see. Let's just make sure he gets the win. Like we always say, you know, whenever you ask Deji, Gibb, whoever, you always say, oh yeah, what's next after this? Their answer is, I'll tell you after Saturday, because at the moment I'm just in fight mode. So yeah, it's all about Swarms, and then we'll see the next steps.
When will Gibb ever be a YouTuber again?
Gibb, we're a YouTuber, you cheeky Gibb. Gibb actually makes the greatest YouTube content, you must admit. It's quality.
Once a year, I'd say.
Quality, not quantity. Well, 2 in the last 2 months, actually. No, he's been filming an awful lot. Like, he's been documenting his entire, right from the Jake Paul fight and before. He's got such a lot of content to drop at the right time. He just doesn't feel like his journey's ready to keep putting little bits out all the time. But no, there'll be some good stuff. He's going to be working on a promo and build-up video ready for the semi-final versus Jarvis, and you can rest assured that'll be the best YouTube video in boxing this year.
Oh, well, there you go.
It always is with Gib, right? They are the best videos.
They are good.
Yeah, it's all about the timing of it. You know, before, with the event, we had the great launch event with the Kingpin, didn't we? Gibbs' video really set that up nicely, if you remember, but there was nothing to capitalise on it because the ticket sales were delayed a week, whereas obviously we're going to work in tandem with those guys to make sure when Gibb does do these big extravaganzas, because don't forget, it's not just Gibb. When Gibb does these videos, they go viral outside his channels because everyone clips them and everything. Yeah, I mean, even the bit he did with the chin, you know, Instagram story, that's everywhere on YouTube, every reaction video, because it's funny and it's engaging. It's not just a normal piece of content.
Do you believe that's because he's so exclusive? He very rarely posts on Instagram. So then when he does post on Instagram or stories, everyone's... Like, for example, if he posts something on a story, I'll put it on Twitter because it's so exclusive. Whereas KSI does... If KSI posts something on a story, probably wouldn't put it on my Twitter because it's just more exclusive, I guess, and post less.
It is, but it is also the quality. I mean, that's hella funny, right? And Gibb doesn't just post for the sake of it. If he's just posting poster and image and update, people are, oh yeah, they keep him in his mind. But Gibb's all about engagement and you know, getting people excited. So when he does put something out, it has to be high quality. So yeah, hence why everyone shares it, because it's fun, isn't it? It's engaging. Oh, look what Gibb said. And there's always a little twist, a little joke in there, which if you watch Gibb's content back, you watch any of his videos, you have to watch it 2 or 3 times to listen to the lyrics and the music, which match up with some messaging or something like that. He's a real creator, yeah.
Is there a reason why we haven't heard the number of pay-per-view buys for the last Kingpin show?
I don't know. No, I mean, it's up to them, isn't it? You know, they don't want to be. I don't know. I think it did pretty well, but I think they felt it could. I mean, not to go into it too much. I think there was quite a bit of piracy as usual. That's the difference with a non-broadcaster event like being on a DAZN platform or something where you've got a lot of infrastructure there to cater for that. They've learned they're putting a few bits in place for the next one, I think, which will just bolster and fill up a few of those holes. But yeah, until they're ready, I saw that first event. Don't forget, that's the first proper Kingpin event. Misfits have got a whole year of fantastic success. They've built a great brand, haven't they? I think Kingpin are a whole year behind that. So I think you judge them when they're on their third event rather than their first.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. But do you see Kingpin as kind of a one-time thing, or do you see him doing a tournament every year, annually? Is that the kind of aim goal? I
think they'll assess it at the end of it. You know, it's very different again to a Misfits where they've got a long-term deal tied up with a broadcaster. Kingpin have investors, and they will need to see a certain return. These guys invest in multiple things, not just fighting and boxing. So I think they'll look at the tournament, see the success, see the hype, see what they could build on, and also they've also got to visualise the narratives and the fighters available in the tournament or the weight class that they're looking for next year. Do they go around the same weight? Do they change it? Are there as big personalities and quality at a different weight? It's all to be seen. I know they have, the guys running Kingpin, they have big aspirations to keep doing that, but it's not ultimately their decision.
There's a few investors, I guess, but you just give it a boost.
Yeah, and they make, one of them might say, you know what, I want to go and make a Hollywood movie next month instead. You never know with investors, do you? But ultimately, I think they love the sport. They love what's happening. Obviously, everything we did before, Misfits and now Kingpin are in there too. They're all caught up in the same ecosystem, and everyone's helping each other build this together. So I think they'd be wise to give it a couple of goes rather than put all eggs in one basket. But I think the tournament has to go well without too many hitches. I think by the end of it, hopefully, I think the only drawback with the first event was the way a couple of the fights finished. I know we've spoke about the Gibb McBroom finish and the quitting and all that side of things. I think if there'd have been some more highlight moment knockouts like Gibb was about to get, who knows what Jarvis Zanetti may have ended up being if Tom hadn't gassed out like that. But ultimately, they need a few real tentpole moments like Misfits tend to get on their events, don't they? There's always a big knockout by someone, JJ, a Slim, a Salt Pappy or something like that. I think that was the only thing missing from the first one. It was about to happen. They were sort of robbed of that moment. But if you can build that hype up, let's see some good semi-finals and good undercards, and I think people will be happy, and the investors will see a good return and want to go again.
Before I let you go, I know we're short of time here because it's weighing day. Jay Swingler retiring. Is that a permanent thing, or do you think he'll come back in a few years? How do you see it going?
I don't have a crystal ball, and a few years is a long time in influencer boxing, right? Look, Jay is he's taking the opportunity. Obviously, he had an injury. He was sick as well. He thought, he got he's always in the back of his mind, knowing that. I think he's learned the core of his life is YouTube and TGF, right? And that's where his fan base has been built from, and that's how he can sell out a crowd in Telford or in Sheffield or whatever, because he's built that. And he felt he was leaving that aside a little bit because the boxing was overtaking it, but he was balancing it reasonably well. But now he's got big aspirations with Childish. The Childish energy is taking off fantastic, and he's a guy who puts all effort into one project. So he's going to just take that time for that. And who knows, come the end of the year, if that's up and running nicely, and you know, his production team and everything with his TGF videos are fairly smooth and regular, maybe he'll then think, you know what, now it's time to get back in. But right now, it's full TGF and childish mode until he says otherwise. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what, the bug won't go. He loves fighting. He loved it. And, you know.
His gym, he started up his own boxing gym, so what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, no, I mean, people train there. He's got, you know, Bav and people can help out there. So, you know, it's just a little bit of an aside. And he'll probably end up, you know, still training now and again, but just not seriously in there. Yeah, but people use it, you know, just as like a normal gym.
And Joe Weller, I know you still manage him. What's going on with Joe?
Joe's travelling. Joe's having fun DJing out in the Far East. Joe's, I think he's just having a really good time, getting, you know, excited out there, and yeah, he's making music, and I think I spoke to him a couple of weeks back. I said, okay, yeah, do you want to pop along and get involved with this commentary or come along to this event? And because everyone always wants him to be around, right? And he says, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, you always keep me in mind. I'm good for the commentary, not for the fighting. I said, well, he knows he just literally has to say, I want to do a tag team match with Theo Baker, and you know everyone's going to drop it, and he knows that now. He knows the opportunity's there, but he's not ready for that yet. It's a big commitment. But you know, Joe's similar in that regard to Jay. I mean, I don't want to offend either of them thinking about that, but Joe is very much single-minded. You know, if he was to come back in boxing, he would literally have to dedicate his life for 6 months. He's playing big catch-up now, isn't he? Big catch-up. So maybe the tag team is his way to go rather than it be straight in the deep end.
Sort of a gentle way of kind of easing him in.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it takes the edge of it. I mean, ultimately, if you get knocked out in a tag team match, it's no different, right? But
he's a teammate getting chinned.
Equally, he's all about the fun. He's more about the WWE. You know, he loves it.
His old videos are all WWE.
If you look on his stories today, there's him doing what is it, the TKO? Off the top rope, whatever it's called. Okay, so yeah, he's doing it off the high swimming board in a place in Bali. Literally, he's got a guy off the high board into the swimming pool. So he's always doing that. He loves that WWE side, which is why I think he would love all this. But equally, therefore, he probably is more akin to those sort of wacky type matches, I think, than the series headline against the KSI. You know.
So there's no chance ever of Joe Weller fighting Mams Taylor on Misfits.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Mams is silly enough to do that anyway.
So no chance?
I don't know. We're not spoken about it. If Mams said, "Oh, you know, I want to fight Joe and I'll offer him this amount of money," we'd see. But I don't think Mams is silly enough to do it. Just we never know. Actually, Mams might be silly enough to do it. Sorry, Mams.
He'll see this. Mams watches everything.
No, literally. Look, Mams can do what he wants on this platform, and if he thinks that's a fun thing and something he wants to put his time to, I'm sure he will.
Like all the background. Is that pay-per-view?
Well, it's not a headline pay-per-view, is it? Okay. Maybe. if Deji's injured. Yeah. It can't hold a card, can you? It can go on a card, yeah. I don't think it's pay-per-view though, no. But you know, it's up to Mams how he spends the Misfits budget. Well, it's not just up to Mams how he spends the Misfits budget. Zona got a word and Wasserman got a word in that too. But I think they'd see the value in it. But yeah, let's see if Mams would do more than 3 minutes. 3 rounds. Sorry, Pappy.
Awesome. Liam, thank you so much.
My guy. See ya.